It's August 29th. We're at the end of the month. It's a long weekend for everyone here in the US. There is much to do today, but it is time. It is day 6 of Florida versus Donna Adelson. What did Donna do? That's the question that I am waiting to see if the jury answers, because we have been going through quite a lot of wiretap calls. And for those of you that are like, why are the wiretap calls needed? This is a conspiracy. It is a conspiracy to commit murder charge. It is a solicitation of murder charge, and it's a murder charge. But at the heart of it, it's a conspiracy charge. And you need to show what the different conspirators are doing, and you need to show the conspiracy, the agreement to do the thing. You need to show that agreement, and then you show what each member of the conspiracy is doing. And so the train cars, as the prosecution called them, that are bumping from Donna back to Charlie, Charlie back to Katie, Katie back to Sigfredo, who we know was the gunman, that starts to show you what Donna knows and what she's doing. And honestly, do you think Charlie's a little salty that it was Donna who completely made the wire and the bump operation? Like at one point, Donna's like, everybody else is saying they're going to get it done. I'm just going to get it done. And though she tried to leverage the I'm just a little old lady and my grandkids had my phone, she didn't really buckle. She was like, I don't know what you're talking about. But it was that call that really ended up being the end of the fruitful wire. Donna just kept leaning in and kept the undercover on the phone for like 8 minutes and downloaded that app on her phone to record that call.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
Donna also said, I'm not in the loop. She talked about how she doesn't know certain people. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know that guy. I don't know who you're naming. Your family had a problem taking care of up north. I don't know those people. Today, we're going to get to court, and I am optimistic that today we will get that open line jail call where she's talking about fleeing the country. I'm ready. And we've got to be getting towards the end of the prosecution's case because the judge wants this case done by next week. Let's go.
Look, I didn't say this to you before I picked up the phone, but there's a lot of things that we have to do, and we've got a very tight time frame.
Donna sounds like she's starting to get upset just based on the change in her voice. Donna said, I think it would be a nice way to just leave me alone, say goodbye. I'm going to lose my son who's going to prison for something he didn't do. I can't function. I'm not that strong. And I also know he is a year ahead. His body, everything, his clothing started to deteriorate. I'm old. I've had a life. So now she's talking about whether she will continue in her corporeal earthly form or not. But Charlie just got convicted when this call happens. That's why she's saying he's going to prison.
Well, then make a decision at some point. So after speaking to Dan this morning and really...
This is why law enforcement knew they needed to pick her up at the airport. She said, we got to make a decision at some point. So after speaking to Dan, the attorney, this morning and knowing what they're thinking up there, the cops in Tallahassee, I don't know if we'll make it out in time. Now she's talking about traveling. But Dan, the lawyer, said, quote, you might, or you might get all of it. Get to the airport and they'll stop you. And that could happen. It could happen. I don't know, but it's worth a try. So now she's talking about fleeing. So Donna's now telling everyone at their little clandestine meetup. So I wrote this last night. So Donna's talking about a text or an email she is sending or sent to Wendi. Quote, we know you never ask anything about your brother. This is at 8 o'clock last night. But we just got off the phone with him. And the first thing he asked was, how's Wendi holding up? I didn't have the heart to tell him that you never called us or asked about him. I just said you weren't up for phone calls right now. Oh, the emotional manipulation. Everyone looks to protect you. I bet you've got a lot to think about.
So I wrote this last night. We know you never asked anything about your brother. This is 8 o'clock last night. But we just got off the phone with him, and the first thing he asked was, how's Wendi holding up? I didn't have the heart to tell him that you never called us or asked about him. I just said we weren't up to phone calls right now. Everyone looks to protect you. I think you've got a lot to think about.
We've been looking it up over and over because things change. If there is extradition from Vietnam, because we've looked at all the places. I mean, I could go to Korea and China, but there's no extradition. And we're looking for places where there's no extradition. Extradition meaning that if you are charged in the United States, that country does not have an agreement with the United States to send you back.
Did you, as a professional in this investigation, come to a conclusion that we needed to get a warrant because she has a one-way ticket?
Yes.
It's not my decision to get a warrant. I was
you
not
give input?
involved in the process of getting a warrant.
You were not involved in that?
No, ma'am.
So you weren't involved in coming to the decision that a warrant needed to be obtained because she was going to leave the country?
No, ma'am, that's not my decision to make. That's the prosecution's decision.
I didn't ask you if it was your decision. I said you didn't participate in it?
It depends on what you mean by participate.
You
I
told me.
drove to Miami to participate. Yes, ma'am.
Did you have any communication with any investigation agency in this case about the fact there was a one-way ticket to a country that doesn't extradite and something probably needs to be done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I mean, because you got on the road then and went to Miami, right?
I did, just in case. Yes, ma'am.
Just in case you traveled.
No, just in case they got a warrant.
Just in case they got a warrant. But up to that point, there was no warrant.
That is correct.
From the date that Mr. Markell was murdered, all of the investigation that took place, right?
Yes,
Hundreds of thousands of emails, right?
correct.
Some of them she says bad things about Danny Markell and sometimes other people, right?
Sure.
And you've got all of that. You've got all of the call detail records, right?
Correct.
No warrant.
No, ma'am.
And she's been
Counsel, are you arguing that they should have gotten a warrant earlier? Interesting strategy.
watched. She's been monitored. No warrant.
Yes, ma'am. No warrant.
You got her on recorded calls in 2016 saying what she said. No warrant.
That's correct.
You got a text message where she says, outside your house, no warrant.
Correct.
You got Catherine Magbanawa, who's come through her lying and not being completely truthful, and no warrant.
Yes.
And it's not until the time
Katie didn't really bring all of the smoke until November 2023, October 2023, when she testified at Charlie's trial. Donna gets arrested November 2023.
that she has this trip that she's going out of the country, that a warrant is obtained.
That's correct.
At the time that she started planning that she was going to go out of town, there was no warrant.
Correct.
You were aware that she was getting a visa. You all knew that.
Correct.
There was no warrant at that time.
It wasn't Charlie's defense that he was being extorted, and was part of that defense that he and his mother, he brought his mother in on that, didn't he? He told her about it.
That's correct.
Okay, so they were both being extorted over the course of almost 2-year period before the bump, right?
That's correct. That's what he said.
Okay, and that's why she was writing those checks. She was being extorted.
That's correct.
And the killers, according to Charlie Adelson, came to Tallahassee unsolicited, unprovoked. Nobody hired them. They came and just killed Dan Markell, and then
He did not.
be able to get some money out of Charlie Adelson and Donna Adelson later.
That is what Charlie Adelson
He did
said.
not.
Since Charlie Adelson didn't have enough money in his safe that night, the killers, through the mediator of Catherine Magbanawa, agreed to put him on a layaway plan to pay this money over time.
That's correct. It was a layaway plan for the extortion.
Part of the checks that Donna Adelson signed were the layaway plan to the gang member extortion.
Layaway?
That's correct. That's what he said.
For gang members?
Ms. Adelson, if you please can rise so I can swear you in.
He's swearing her in? He's going to ask her something.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth? You can lower your hand. Ms. Adelson, concerning the listed state witnesses for this afternoon, Patricia Byrd and Drina Bernhardt, you have discussed with your counsel the cross-examination strategy for these two witnesses. Yes. I need you to speak up so you can be clearly heard.
Yes.
Fucking miss me with the meek voice. Wait. The jail informants? Oh. After lunch is the jail informants. Oh, with the scripts. That's why they were late this morning. We're going to see what he has to say, but he's swearing Donna in to say, have you discussed your strategy with your defense attorneys? Which means there might be room for the defense attorneys to argue when they are choosing not to do it. Let's listen.
You also understand how the cross-examination strategy will fit into your theory of defense. you understand how this cross-examination strategy will fit into your theory of defense for the case.
Yes.
And you have consented to this particular strategy.
Yes.
Today, we sat through one of the strangest cross-examinations I have ever seen by the defense. There were some very interesting points because you got to argue something. They spent a lot of time going over the murder happened in 2014, and until 2023, there was no warrant issued for Donna Adelson until she booked that flight to Vietnam. We also heard that recorded jail call when Charlie was disconnected. Donna was talking to people in the house with the phone line open. We heard all of her beef back and forth with Wendi, getting her affairs in order and getting on a one-way flight and talking about not being able to get out in time. Very interesting call. I think it was the clarified one. They had the transcript rolling with it. Once Agent Sanford was off the stand, before the attorneys broke for lunch, after the jury was out of the room, the court swore in Donna Adelson. Why? Because whatever conversations they had at sidebar off the record, the court chose to swear in Donna Adelson and ask if she was on board with the defense strategy for cross-examination of 2 witnesses. Who are those 2 witnesses? The jailhouse informants. At the beginning of this trial, I was not sure if the jailhouse informants were going to come in. All the motions regarding them have been redacted to hell and back. And then in opening statements, it was opening statements when the prosecution said that Donna wrote a script for the informants to follow to talk about the fact that Catherine McBanawa told them a different story in custody. She wrote a script. Donna said, yes, I'm on board with the defense cross-examination strategy. Yes, I agree. Yes, I understand how it impacts my rights. What is the cross-examination strategy that requires the defendant to give a sworn statement on the record that she is on board? It is incredibly unusual to see a defendant need to be sworn to say that they are on board with their defense strategy. But the court must be concerned about protecting the record. Normally, you see this when the defendant chooses to or chooses not to testify. We're going to see what that strategy is after lunch. Oh boy, we're going to get to see the script. And they laid out all of Charlie's defense strategy. The prosecution asked Sanford all about Charlie Adelson's testimony and his defense. Charlie's defense was that he was being extorted and the payroll money was going to Katie and then Katie was paying somebody, and that 2 randos, my words, decided just one day to drive up to Tallahassee from Miami for no reason and decided to kill Dan Markell, and then after the fact, then extort the Adelson family after they killed Dan Markell. What in the world is that strategy? And how does that even fit with the facts that you asked Catherine McBanawa on October 31st, but I have to guess that they didn't know Catherine McBanawa was going to say that shit on the stand, because apparently she was much more forthcoming during Charlie's trial based on that cross-examination. And Catherine McBanawa said Charlie came to her on October 31st and said, hey, can you help us take care of our problem? You know, the same day that Wendi Adelson just decided that she didn't want to buy the house in Tallahassee. Wendi Adelson, who told Jeff, who thankfully got the fuck out of Dodge, told Jeff that she couldn't ever leave Tallahassee unless something happened to Dan Markell. Not that we're not going to move unless Dan gets another job. Not we're not going to move unless he goes and teaches at a law school. Not we're kind of going to be in the same place. No, not that. I can't leave Tallahassee unless something happens to him. Professors move through different institutions. I imagine at one point he wanted to go back to Harvard, where he loved going to school. That's not what she said, though. October 31st, she's no longer buying a house that we learned she could afford. Charlie's asking Katie to take care of her problem. And then we heard testimony that the hitman went up to Tallahassee in June, and they lost Dan Markell because originally he was with his kids and then he was gone and they couldn't do the hit. And then they went back in July because Charlie was getting more persistent about the problem being taken care of. And then the night of the murder, Donna brings the freaking damp dollars over to Charlie's house, and then Charlie puts them in Catherine McBanawa's trunk. When did they have time to extort them again? Somewhere on the drive? No, see, we would have known that though. You know how we would have known? All the phone records. The phone records don't indicate a flurry of calls. There's a very few calls. There is no way you are extorting someone for a murder while Dan Markel is still in the hospital, because he did not pass away till the next day. Okay, Charlie. But it also kind of put a nail in that argument if Donna is going to try to testify about that, because Donna can't testify to any of that because it's all been made to look like a ridiculous argument. And her prison daughters are going to testify after lunch.
Once you and Donna Adelson became close friends, did she ever talk to you about her pending case, this case?
She did.
When y'all would have those conversations, did you ever outright ask her whether she did what she's accused of?
I did.
And what did she say to that?
She said she did. It was to keep her grandkids, but it wasn't supposed to go that far.
Okay. So she said she did do it, and she did it.
Oh, boy.
And what is it that she wanted you to testify about?
She wanted me to testify about numerous different things about Kay, mostly about Miss McBonwa.
And Miss McBanwa, you knew her by the nickname Kay?
Yes.
Okay. And so she had some things she wanted you to say about Kay.
Correct.
At some point, did she prepare a script for you of exactly what she wanted you to testify to?
She did.
Damn. I'm going to approach and show you what I've marked as State's Exhibit 62.
We're going to pause to read. Question: how did you know who Donna Adelson was? Answer: everyone knew her. She's been on the news. I've seen and heard about her on some TV shows and read it in the newspaper over the years.
So this is what she wanted you to say in court.
Yes, ma'am.
So for example, how did you know Donna Adelson? You were supposed to say everyone knew her. She's been on the news. I've seen and heard about this on TV shows and read it in the newspaper over the years.
Correct.
Do you read the newspaper?
No.
Okay. Did you know much about her or her case prior to coming in contact with her in the Leon County Jail?
No, ma'am.
And what were you supposed to do with this physical script?
Burn after reading?
I was supposed to copy it down and give it back to her.
Okay, copy it into your own handwriting?
Yes, ma'am.
So it wasn't in her handwriting?
And
Right.
did you provide this item to my office?
Yes, ma'am.
And was it copied and returned to you?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you do with it once you returned with the original to the Leon County Jail?
Gave it back to her. 100% you did. Donna didn't know that she gave it to the attorneys because she gave it back to Donna.
Here, she laughed about how easy it was to extort, and extort is underlined. Did you underline that, or did Mrs. Adelson underline that?
I didn't underline it.
Okay. How easy it was to extort him for the money. He wouldn't have to take her out to a fancy dinner. She could buy plenty of fancy dinners with the $1/3 She said she fooled her baby daddy and she fooled Charlie. Sigfredo would do anything for her, and he did. All right.
No, counsel. And he did! Exclamation point.
So, again.
And
sorry
she's
to keep
never
asking
saying
some
that about
questions, but
Sigfredo,
did
chat. You're
Kay say
right.
any
She
of
hasn't.
this to you?
No.
She would never say that about Sigfredo.
Charlie was scared and easy
definitely
to
wouldn't
extort.
write it.
What a stupid fool. He believed her.
You gotta be fucking joking me, Donna.
Did Kay say any of this to
No.
you?
You wrote what a stupid fool? Donna, it's not 1950. Katie is not saying what a stupid fool. Katie is saying this stupid motherfucker.
Did she give you anything or promise you anything in exchange for reciting this script?
Well, I was in jail. I received packages and phone calls, and I was promised things as well.
Like what?
Type of packages?
Packages are in jail just like a bunch of basically gas station food, but it's exciting when you're in jail.
Okay, and what about phone calls?
For those of you that are just watching this trial now, Donna testified that she was being quote unquote extorted for commissary and that she was being forced to give people packages and she was scared. After this trial, I'm going to need to go back and look at the timeline of when the informants started talking to law enforcement. And when Donna decided that she needed to move, Donna said, I need to get out of custody. They're extorting me for packages of commissary.
What do you mean by that?
Just the phone calls are very expensive from jail, so she would let me use her phone to call my mother and other people.
Okay, and you said
Let her
she
use your
promised
calling
you
card.
other things in the future. What other types of things?
$10,000, a grand piano.
Why?
What else?
She promised me cameras, but
None of that came to fruition.
no.
Okay. And what about
The gram-
pills? Did she mention anything to you about pills?
Yes, that if I needed pills, that I could call a doctor named, I think Obed. I think that's his name.
Okay.
Yes.
And that person would write you some prescriptions?
Yes, ma'am.
And
No.
why would you be in need of prescription medication?
I'm a recovering drug addict.
Did she
I don't care about the grand piano. I don't care about the money. Really? You are trying to manipulate this woman through her addiction? I get trying to bribe people. I get trying to offer them money and offer them commissary and whatever. But fucking with somebody's recovery, this has clearly been a struggle for her. And you are going to say, look, we can get you money, but what I'm going to offer you is pills. I think it's consistent with what we've seen from Donna. She is going to get people to do what she wants them to do from whatever means necessary. If there is anyone on this jury that is in recovery, has loved ones in recovery, can you imagine how they must feel?
This is a demonstrative court chart. It has some of the words and letters from the question documents.
And the known
Thank you so
documents.
much. So I have looked through the question documents, of which there were 3 pages. I found certain words and cropped those words digitally and placed them on this chart. I did the same thing with some of the words from and letters from the known writing. And I have put similar words and letters so that I can better explain how it is that I am able to, first of all, choose an individual handwriting characteristic, and then how I'm able to show that it is found within the known writing and that it is similar.
And does the next slide indicate the points of comparison on these particular characters?
Yes, the next slide has some arrows and other markings which are pointing out some
the arrows.
of the individual
Not to move me too much.
characteristics that I found in my examination, and showing how they are similar between the question writings and the known writings.
I'm curious to hear the cross-examination.
We've never contested that our client wrote that document, no questions.
What else does Donna Adelson say to Wendi Adelson about this extortion defense?
I want to know.
She says that she's sorry this has been our life for so many years. It has been torture, but your lawyer didn't want you to know what happened.
Lies.
I think if you did, our relationship and your with Charlie would have been much different. I hope he knew what he was doing. Your testimony was crucial. Let's see what a jury does to him, and to the rest of us. You know I'm next, but that won't happen. I'll take care of that.
What date is that?
That will,
You did not. You know I'm next, but that won't happen. I'll take care of that. Tell me again that one-way ticket was a vacay.
Going back to November of 2023, did we find messages in Donna Adelson's phone from November of 2023 when the verdict was announced between Donna and Wendi?
I wanted to hear about these so badly.
Okay, can we see that message?
Yes, please.
Or maybe this, okay. She says there's a verdict. This is on November 6, 2023. Is that correct?
that's correct.
Was a verdict delivered, meaning read out loud by the clerk or by the judge, sometime between 5 p.m. and 5:15 p.m. on that day, November 6th?
Yes.
Okay. When does Wendi send her next message?
At 5:27 p.m.
So this would have been after the verdict was rendered?
Yes.
All right. And she says, I love you very much. Call if you feel like you can. Is that right?
I just read down the page. I'm going to just let it roll.
Yes.
And how does Donna Adelson respond? Can you read that message?
Your brother protected you for
Damn,
years.
Donna.
Now you are not guilty. Your lawyer took very good care of you. You can bury me in the dress that I bought for Lincoln's bar mitzvah.
And was that sent at 5:31 p.m. on November 6th?
It was, yes.
So about 15 to 20 minutes after the verdict?
Yes.
We've heard about Donna Adelson's planner. Was there some entries in the planner for the week after Charlie Adelson's trial that indicated they weren't planning to come home anytime soon? What's the first entry here?
So the first entry we see is sell and list jewelry, dishes, implants, comics.
Okay, was there also notes at the bottom about canceling disability insurance?
Yes.
2, in fact.
Yes.
Was there a note for, I'm looking in the middle of the screen here, for Wendi to tell Dan regarding Vietnam, and he must tell Charlie on his private line? Is that right?
Yes.
Would Charlie Adelson have been in custody at that time?
Yes.
And if the Adelsons were to call Charlie Adelson and tell him they're going to Vietnam, would that call be recorded and available to law enforcement?
Yes.
If Dan, Charlie's attorney, calls Charlie to tell him that information, would that call be private and law enforcement cannot listen to that?
That's correct.
Day 6 of Florida versus Donna Adelson, and the state has rested. It was a very interesting day in court. After a full day of the wiretaps and the recorded phone calls and Charlie Adelson talking about everything, today we got a lot more into conversations. Donna Adelson, and we saw the 2 Jailhouse informants, and we saw Donna Adelson's Q&A. She wanted her Jailhouse daughter, who she called her sunshine, to testify to. That script included sentences that Katie McBanowa never would have said, but the script was supposed to be for Donna's Jailhouse daughter, which is what she called her, to say that she had been in jail at the same time as Katie McBanowa, which was true, right? Records can prove that. And to say what Katie McBanowa told her. And that script seemed to align very closely to what Charlie Adelson's defense was at his trial. And amongst the wildness of it all, at one point, the answer was supposed to say that Katie told the informant that Charlie was a stupid fool. Katie McBanowa might call Charlie Adelson everything but a child of God, but what she is not calling him is a stupid fool. And then, as she was continuing to write, it doesn't say LOL, it says haha. There are some things that just do not ring true in the script for things that Katie McBanowa ever would have said. And the strategy of the prosecution of spending an entire day, and it was an entire day of those calls, is I felt like I got a sense of how Katie interacts, like when she is just having conversation. I feel like we got a sense of how Charlie interacts when he's just having conversation. And then we also got to see how they interact over text. Katie McBanowa doesn't spell out the word you. She uses letters. I mean, she's not saying what a fool, and she's definitely not saying ha ha out loud. And if she had laughed, then wouldn't it have been she was laughing about what a fucking idiot he was. Because she's not saying the stupid fool. Ha ha. That script was one of the wildest things I think I have ever seen. And then they even brought in a handwriting analyst to talk about the known handwriting, which was Donna's entire day planner, which was really telling them everything. Donna's whole day planner. And then they compared it to the Jailhouse script. And then when it was time for cross-examination, her defense team got up and said, "We've never contested that our client wrote that." What? And then they are going through Donna's planner the week of Charlie's conviction. And Donna's making lists. She's checking off quite a bunch of them, but she's making lists of what she needs to do, including what she wants to have sold from her home. Dishes, comics, jewelry. She also had left a note about a sale of a gun and where to get the paperwork because the gun needed to be sold with the paperwork. She was also canceling their disability insurance, among other things. Her text messages to Wendi Adelson as Charlie's verdict came down were really illuminating as to why she was popping off on the recorded call. And at one point on the recorded call, it became clear that Donna was reading the text she sent to Wendi, because then we saw the text. How did we see the WhatsApp messages? Because they were still on Donna's phone when Donna got arrested. Those text messages were chilling. And in part, Donna said to Wendi, "I'm next, but I'll take care of that." Very interesting text. And then one of the informants that was in custody with Donna Adelson said she asked Donna if she did this, if she did what she was charged with. And Donna's answer was, yes, I wanted to have my grandkids, but it wasn't supposed to go that far. At the end of this trial, we will see how long the jury is out. But next week, because this case is supposed to be done by Friday, Tuesday, we start with the defense case in chief. Is Donna gonna be on the stand on Tuesday? Maybe she will be, because the defense has said Donna's gonna testify. And the prosecution will still have the option to put on a rebuttal case if they need to. So for all of you wondering, is Charlie gonna testify? He's a potential rebuttal witness. It's really gonna depend if Donna testifies and what she says as to if they're going to bring Charlie in. I didn't mention how frequently Donna said in her text to Wendi, Charlie's been protecting his sister. We protected you. Quite a number of statements like that. Thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed this episode and don't want to miss updates on your favorite cases, you're going to need the LawNerd app at lawnerdapp.com. That way you can stay in the loop on the cases that matter most to you, and you never know when you're going to catch feelings for a new case. So make sure you get it for free on iOS and Android. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being a Law Nerd.